I'm so happy to have Whitney Weldon here today with me as a guest on Bench Chat. We just walked by the bench and Whitney got to see it for the first time, and we had a beautiful day for it. And I'm really excited to sit down with Whitney and talk a little about grief and about FOP and about her life. And I'm so grateful she's here with me today. I met Whitney through my late fiance, Jack. Whitney and Jack grew up together, which she'll get into. But I'm so grateful that Jack brought Whitney into my life. They had a very special friendship, and Whitney's a very special person, and I'm so excited to share her with all of you today.
Hi everyone, my name is Whitney. I am a New York resident, and as you see, I am in a wheelchair. I spend my days roaming around the city in my chair. I have a rare disease that is called Fibrodysplasia Ossificans Progressiva. It is a 1 in 1 million diagnosis, and there are only 900 cases around the world. What FOP is, muscles, tendons, and ligaments turn to bone slowly over time, and trauma can definitely expedite the bone growth. When I was younger, my parents and I lived in Westfield, New Jersey, and we had the great honor of becoming friends with the Lawrences. Jack, Charlotte, and I were all the same age. When we reconnected in middle school, we became lasting friends.
So Whitney, what was something you loved most about Jack?
One of my favorite things is his smile. Whenever I'm having a bad day, I always think of Jack and just put a happy face on and smile, and then just the memory of him just automatically just brings the biggest smile to my face.
That's really sweet. Whitney, what's something you didn't expect about grief?
One thing I didn't expect about grief is the time it took to grieve either a person or a thing. For me, along with losing Jack, another thing I grieve, unfortunately, rather regularly, is my movement. With FOP, once our bones are fused, we are at a time where there is no treatment currently, and when my arms have froze, likelihood I'll never get that mobility back. So grieving comes in waves, as you've said. Some days are better than others. The unknown is definitely scary. Live your life to the fullest and know that despite the challenges of grief, that anyone can overcome it.
It's beautiful. Thank you. I'd love to hear a little bit about what's going on with FOP right now. I know you've posted some things recently about some breakthroughs.
So there are a few drug companies that are in clinical trials for treatments with involving FOP. The first stepping stone, they want to be able to slow down the excess bone growth that patients with FOP experience. And just this week, Regeneron Pharmaceuticals came out with their phase 3 results for one of their drugs to treat FOP. And there is a 99% decrease of bone growth in this drug that they are hoping to approve by the end of 2025.
Wow, that's amazing.
Which is simply incredible. I am 33 now. I was diagnosed with FOP at 9 years old, and I never thought we'd see a day in my lifetime where there could possibly be, if not a cure for FOP, a stepping stone. And that's the way I look at these trials, is they're each little stepping stones to finding a cure, because FOP is so complex. One drug, it doesn't seem like will just work all the magic. And that's okay. Science is a really magical thing. And I'm just so thrilled to see how far the FOP community has come, in the short time I've been on this earth for.
That's incredible. And Whitney, I think you've done so much for FOP. I know your family started a foundation that's funded a ton of research, and also just by living your life every day, sharing the posts you share online. It's amazing the awareness you've given to FOP, and I'm just really proud of you.
Thank you, Jack. I think growing up with a disease that no one knew about, and still many people don't know about, because it is so rare, I was ashamed of being so different. And I think over the years, as I've gotten older, I've become more proud of who I am and not as scared to tell people about FOP and educate them. I think one of the harder things is when strangers like stare at you,
Yeah.
and it still gets me some days. I hope there comes a day when people who may look different or not the norm, people can see that we're just human. There's people behind these bodies, and they may be unfamiliar, but there's a story behind each of us. And if people get the chance to get to know us, we're just like our neighbors. So I was just thinking about when Jack, Charlotte, and I were younger. We, despite being neighbors, the three of us didn't go to the same school, so we never really got to hang out when we were younger. But our parents were dear friends, and when their birthday came along in October, I remember Mrs. Lawrenson invited me to come over to, I want to say it was like a reptile party. And I was so shy because, like, being different and having a disability, it makes me look different. But I will say, Charlotte and Jack, their friends, are truly a special group of people. They have always accepted me regardless of my chair, and they're always a pleasure to be with, even when we get together today.
Thank you. That was really sweet. You and Jack had a very special friendship, and I'm so grateful that you were in his life and that he was in yours. And thank you for sharing that. Are there any other stories that come to mind that you feel like sharing?
Well, I know recently you posted about Susan and her recent adventure doing jewelry. I'm actually I've been wearing my bracelets.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
Since I received them in the mail last week, and I absolutely love them.
Oh.
And I tell everyone about them. It allows me to carry Jack every day. And he, like you said, he was an amazing person, and I miss him dearly. But having him and his family close with these bracelets and you just make each day a little bit sweeter.
They had such a special place.
It really is. And it was one of my favorite places, is one of mine. And the memories that I have there with Jack and Charlotte are definitely ones that I'll never forget.
I love that. I love what you said about grief earlier. Is there anything else you want to say about grief?
As I've gotten older and experienced life with losing mobility due to FOP, I think it represents and shows that grief can come in so many different shapes, sizes, and moments. Because FOP is somewhat unpredictable, there have always been unknown stages in my diagnosis where I have to grieve a loss of being able to touch my face or walking up a flight of stairs, simple things like that. And when those moments get taken away, and the unknown of if I'm ever going to be able to do those things again is definitely scary. And I try to realize that it's okay to spend some days sad or crying, because holding it all in, I find it hurts me a little more than being able to express my emotions, because bottling it all up, you're just gonna explode at some point.
Yeah.
Watching you in your bench chats and TikTok videos, it's just refreshing to see how you live each and every day, even some days that are harder than others. But you're such an inspiration to get myself out of bed on my hard mornings and just explore the world.
Thank you, Whitney, for saying that, because you are one of my biggest inspirations, and you always show up with a smile on your face, with the best energy. And I know it's not easy for you, but it doesn't go unnoticed. So for you to say that means a lot to me, and I appreciate it. And one thing before we go, what is something you wish people knew about you that they might not?
I find that I'm a very bubbly person, and I love meeting new friends. So, new friends, neighbors, if you see me, say hi.
I love that. You are like the mayor of your block. I feel like Whitney knows everyone in her building, all the coffee shops around your building. Walking through Gramercy Park with Whitney is very special. You know everyone. It's amazing. And I love that. And that's one of the beautiful things about New York, I feel, is how you can make it feel like a small town in your neighborhood if you want it to be, and if you put in the effort.
Definitely. And I try to always smile, because that smile may brighten up someone's day and you don't even know it.
Oh, that's perfect. I couldn't agree more.
Well, thank you for having me. Just thank you.
Of course. And you'll definitely, we're going to come back here soon, okay?
Definitely.